There is a podcast about an island in the North Atlantic where people have been looking for an incredible treasure for more than 200 years.
Hello and welcome back to Could It Be?
An Oak Island podcast.
We are your hosts, Deidre and Dustin White.
Yo,
Yo.
we're here
Yeah, let's boulderly go.
where no boulder has gone before.
Where no boulder's gone before.
Actually, I think the boulders have gone. The boulders have kind of been there.
The boulders have been there, but the boulders have not been finded yet.
Finded?
Well, now they've been finded.
Okay. How about found?
Nah. I wanted to make up my own words, kind of like go rogue here.
Okay.
Off the rails. Okay, we got a lot to unpack on this episode.
Yes. We have swamp stuff. We've got Smith's Cove stuff. We've got something sad with the removing of the cofferdam.
Oh,
right.
When you said something sad, I expected it to be like, I don't know, related to human like sadness. But yeah, the cofferdam is definitely very sad.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think the cofferdam itself is sad because it's an inanimate object, but it is sad to see its part.
Yeah. Well, one thing we have that is a sad reminder of something that happened last year. A few days ago is the 1-year anniversary of Dan Blankenship's passing.
Aww.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, I know that's sad, but I mean, we can still celebrate the man.
Yeah, Dan the man.
The myth, the legend. That's basically
There's
what he is.
There's no myth
right?
in that man. He's the legend.
He is.
Mm-hmm.
So I just, that's something you could potentially be sad about. But I mean, there's a lot to be happy about, too. Like we had an awesome episode of The Curse of Oak Island, right?
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah. Well, yes. And we boulderly went.
We did.
We boulderly went to the swamp and Maury Vineyards and the uplands and Lot 21 and the War Room.
Yeah, I forgot about Maury Vineyard. That was interesting. We've been there before on the show.
I was like, we have not been there before.
No, but the show has been there.
Yeah. Done a little visiting, if you will. A field trip.
That's what you like to call them, field trips.
Everybody calls them field trips.
This wasn't necessarily
like I made it up.
This wasn't necessarily a field trip, though.
No, he was just working, there. Like, doing his thing.
That's like where he lives. I'm sure he lives in that Templar
yeah,
man
he
cave
lives
down
in
there.
the cellar. That's it.
It's like a Templar man cave, right?
Sure.
All you see is that Templar cross on the ground in that room, but around the corner there's like a pinball machine. There's like a big TV, sofa, right?
Sure. Okay, so let's boulderly go to our next section.
Okay, so
where do you want to start?
Well, they start in the swamp. Should we just start in the swamp?
Let's start in the swamp.
Okay, so at the beginning of the episode, we had Rick and Dr. Spooner arriving. They came over in an SUV, and they show up at the swamp, right?
Yes, they came over in an SUV.
Yeah, they had a black SUV, tinted windows. I'm sure there was like government people in the back, like,
It's just a really weird play-by-play. They drive up in a SUV, very dark.
Yeah, so.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, so they show up in their SUV. Gary and Steve and Billy already out there.
Well, it's because, come on, those are some workers,
Yeah, and we know Billy's like half an hour early everywhere.
Yeah, so he was there before Steve and before Gary.
Yeah, he probably dragged them out of bed and said, "Let's go."
Yeah, well, he's probably got the key to the causeway, right?
Wow, that feels like an ancient artifact that must be added. The key to the causeway.
So I'm betting Billy has the key to the causeway. He opens it up every morning to allow the rest of everybody to follow. Following the leader.
Following the Billy, the Billy, because he's got the key to the causeway wherever he may go.
Tito.
Okay. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, you're getting us off.
To the causeway. Yeah. I really like this ancient artifact that is.
It's an ancient artifact from 2 years ago.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, so Rick shows Dr. Spooner the large boulders that were found at the eye of the swamp.
Yes.
That appear to be on top of something that looks like the paved stone area.
Correct.
So does that paved stone area continue all the way from where they had the original dig all the way up to the eye. It seems like it.
I say yes, and I say yes.
Yeah.
That's about it. I'm looking at my note here, kind of laughing at myself.
What does it say?
It says Dr. Spooner pulls out a stick.
He did pull out a stick.
Apparently I thought that was very important. So he pulls out a stick and says it doesn't look much different from the other paved area. And then Laird trots up. Well, I don't know if he trotted, but he at least
perhaps
walked.
he did.
Maybe he did if he was like on a horse. Do, here comes Laird. And he was just kind of agreeing with Dr. Spooner about it being very similar, right? And neither of them could really think of a reason why it would be this way with the material over it, because it looked like the swamp material kind of came in quickly, right?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Well, quickly in geological terms.
Okay, yeah, that's true. We're talking relative here.
Yeah, like quickly, hundreds of years rather than the thousands upon thousands of years it would take to get.
It would take wood?
Yeah.
Like a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Almost exactly like that. Yes.
What if woodchucks put the stick in the stones for Dr. Spooner to pull out? I am still rather tired because I am on some weird tangents this morning.
That's
woodchucks
fine. And hey, I started with the key to the cove, right?
Key to the cove, key to the causeway. You don't even know what you started with.
My bad. It's early. It's fine. All right.
Okay.
So
back on track.
Laird has to chat with Dr. Spooner, and something that he said was that it doesn't look dissimilar to filled-in cellars that he's observed. And Dr. Spooner responded by saying he can't find a natural process that would lead to this stratigraphy.
I don't even know what that means. Did you get the dictionary?
No, but I can imagine what it means.
Stratigraphy?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm even saying it right.
Maybe that's like
doctor speak for dirt.
Filled in, sure.
For filled in dirt?
Yeah, I should have looked it up, but I just didn't. I just forgot.
I was going to avoid that word altogether.
I liked the word, so I thought we should look at. I'm going to look it up right now.
Are you really?
On the spot. Let's get the full real definition.
Oh man. In case anybody else cares.
Yeah. So it is. It's the branch of geology concerned with the order and relative position of strata and the relationship to the geological time scale. So now you understand that.
Did you just say the order?
The order, yes.
Okay.
The order of Oak Island.
Or confirmed. The order. I guess there's odor in the swamp too. Order of
stratigraphy
of the S.
Oh my gosh! All right, it says the analysis of the order and position of layers of archaeological remains. That's probably
the analysis of the order. That's what that means. He's analyzing the order.
The order of Oak Island.
Yes. I feel like I've got it all.
I couldn't let that word go. Okay.
Apparently I can't either. Okay. And he also suggests pulling off kind of that top layer.
Yeah. Then Rick says, "Billy, we need that top layer."
And removed. Billy's like, "On it."
Yeah. Well, duh. Right.
Well, duh. Because who digs Oak Island? Billy. Billy's the man.
Rick finds that this stuff is like he says this stuff is kind of weird, but the truth is all that matters.
Yeah, weird or not.
Well, he is the warden of truth.
He is the warden of truth, and he does render an opinion of what truth is. I feel like since we put that on his card, he says render an opinion or like renders something quite often.
Okay. The reason that I wrote that on the back of his card is because he said it so often.
I know,
it's not
but
because he doesn't say it because it's on the card.
No,
the card was made well after all this was recorded. Okay?
I'm just saying, I notice it now.
Okay, cool.
That's all I got. Cool. Okay, what else do we have from
the swamp?
From swamp. Sorry, my notes are a little cattywampus.
There's a lot,
here.
but I mean, let's I think we will need to come back to it after we talk about some of this other stuff anyway.
Okay.
So next up, what happened was we had your field trip to Maury Vineyard, even though it wasn't a field trip because he was just there.
A teleconference to Maury Vineyards, and I accidentally wrote Mary Vineyards in my notes.
Come on. Have you not been looking at Marty's shirt for like 4 or 5 years now? Where it clearly says Maury Vineyard on it.
Duh. Okay. I just wrote it wrong. But I did go back and fix it.
Okay, good for you. All right, so Marty does a video conference with Mark Monahan from Irving Equipment Limited.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Marty explains what's been going on Oak Island and tells Mark that their permit is expiring in a month, and it will require the cofferdam to be removed from Smith's Cove. Sad.
Yeah, they're gonna have to backfill in beyond the cofferdam.
I look once more.
Just around the cofferdam.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a throwback a little bit for anybody that's listened to us for a while. Yeah.
But it's sad. That means permit time. It's come to an end.
It is.
And they need a lot of time to get this all done.
You know what I suspect, though? I suspect next year it's going to be another cofferdam that's 50 to 100 feet further out. How about that?
Well, we already have the bump out at 50. And remember them asking Dan Blankenship. He's like, oh, I would have gone out, what do you say, another 100 feet?
I thought he said 50 feet.
50 feet. Well, at 50, obviously they found more. And later in the episode, we heard Rick say that it was very sad that this was all ending, but we're not done with Smith's Cove. So we've done learning, we've done bump outs. I'm with you. I think there's another cofferdam.
Bigger one. Well, we'll see. Who knows?
Yeah, because I can't see the future. Dang, I need my magic 8-ball right now.
Oh yeah, that was a discussion we had on our pregame live stream. Everybody, if you're not tuning into that every week, you're missing out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, DJ went on to the spiel about wanting a magic 8-ball for all of the decisions on Oak Island. I'm like,
no, so that we could have a magic 8-ball session when we're chatting with our fans, and we can ask it predictions on the show. Okay. I do think though maybe they should for like a week use only the magic 8-ball to make decisions
on the island.
Yeah. What
Who'd be in charge of that?
We have to send it to Scott.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, because Scott's in charge. Everybody says that Scott's in charge and he coordinates everybody and he's the boss on the island. So if we send him a magic 8-ball, he can just be like, Laird, should you
finally go back to Samuel Ball's cellar and do a dig there and show everybody, right? Because that's one of the things that you've been stuck on for a couple of years now, that they went to Samuel Ball's the lot that he owned in the cellar, and that they were going to dig it, and then they never showed it again.
Well, yeah, because they found all those rocks and those pieces of pottery, and I need closure. But what if the magic 8-ball says no?
Well, then they'll move on. That's your only chance.
That's my only closure.
And that's your only chance, and they'll never come back to it.
Oh, that's messed up. Yeah. Okay, I'll take whatever I can get.
Yeah, if you want to come to our live streams that we do pregame for the Curse of Oak Island, it's an hour before the show starts. We do like about almost an hour of just chatting about what the next episode's going to be. It's like really informal, and we chat with the chat room and stuff.
We spend a lot of time talking with those, like you said, in the chat.
Yeah.
Apparently
we just have a real good group that shows up, a bunch of regulars. You know who you are. You guys are awesome. And I mean, we welcome more regulars. It's a lot of fun. All right, so what else did they talk about when Marty was doing his video conference at Maury Vineyard?
Well, I thought it was interesting that when he was talking to Mark, he's like, "You're all invested over there, right?" At He's like, yes, we're all very invested here.
Do you think Mark was thinking in the back of his mind, oh my gosh, I just want to be done with this place?
No, he didn't quite look like. He didn't have that face.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Like, I know what that face looks like.
Especially people that are like, because Irving Equipment's based, I think, in New Brunswick. And, that's not far from Nova Scotia. And, come on. They grew up hearing about Oak Island. They're all invested in it. They love Oak Island.
Yeah.
Like, everybody wants to figure out what's going on there and get some answers.
Well, no doubt, yo. So he's like, yeah, we're invested. And he's like, hey, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Guess
like
what?
a wink, wink, nudge, nudge kind of thing.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So in the uplands, this area over here, we found some interesting stuff. And then all of a sudden, I feel like this conversation goes to, oh, great, we only have like 2 days to be done.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yikes. Yeah, I mean, that's when reality hit the viewers, but they were already expecting this. You know, like they were well prepared. They knew what they could do and couldn't do. You know.
Well, yeah, of course, but it's still, with everything going on, especially with the hurricane and all that fun stuff, all that stuff. I'm sure what they had planned for the year, which was already a lot, was a little, a little shook up. So maybe they didn't get to spend as much time there as they had wanted. And it sneaks up on you pretty quickly. And bam, all of a sudden you only have 2 days and you need to be like, Billy, dig a hole as deep as you can go right here. Because I'm pretty sure that's what we cut to next.
All I can think of is I'm all shook up. No.
That's my
Yeah. Billy, dig now. It's almost like Maddie Blake. Remember last year when they had the seismic anomaly that they went to? They went to.
Did they go to Eagle Canada?
Eagle Canada,
yeah.
and Maddie Blake's like, drill or dig now.
Dig here now.
I think he just said dig now.
Oh, dig now.
Yeah, and that Billy, like that's what this is saying to Billy. Dig now, 50 feet, go. Let's see what we can find.
Yeah, well, let's kind of talk about that. We cut over to the uplands, and we have Rick is talking to Billy naturally.
Yeah.
And P.S. Why does Rick get to call Billy Bill?
His
name's Billy.
Well, you know what? He's close. They're close. He could. I'm sure.
If you're close, you get to drop the Y.
I'm sure Billy has given him the thumbs up. Okay.
Okay.
If he's offended, he'd be like, "Dude, my name's Billy. Stop. It's not William. It's not Bill. It's Billy."
It's someone. I was gonna say, I bet you nobody calls him William unless it's like an award or something.
I was just thinking, what if somebody went and called him Willie? Do you think he'd be super offended?
He'd be like, "What?"
He's like, "I am not a Willie."
A Willie?
Yeah, if you
I can't even.
Oh my gosh! I was gonna say, like, if you went over to the cave pit and tripped and fell in.
Okay, you're done. Nobody's calling anybody
wet Willie.
If
you fell into the cave pit.
Okay, oh my gosh, you're done. You're done. Billy's my hero. He's not a Willie.
I know. That's what I'm saying. He's not a Willie. He's not a Willie. He's not a Bill. He's not. Unless you're really close to him, then you call him Bill, I guess. Okay.
Apparently, leave it alone. You're the one that went on Willie. Like, wow, maybe we should not do podcasts in the morning because we are off the rails.
It's fine.
Okay, Rick and Billy talk about going as low as they can go.
Yeah, and then Rick he proceeds to start doing that. Rick positions himself so that he can be kind of Billy's eyes.
Yeah, because when you have an arm that long,
I don't think they were using the super long arm at that point, remember?
No, but he switches over. You got to get the hole started.
Yeah.
You don't start with the giant, like.
I know, but Rick's just there to be eyes, you know?
Yeah. He's eyeing it up, yo.
Yeah. I have in my notes, the wall of the hole appears to have boards in it, and Rick wants to know if it's like a wall or if it's just
like the imprint.
Yeah, the imprint of something or what. And I guess they confirmed that there is like some sort of structure there with boards all over it. So
yeah, it kind of becomes a big deal.
Yeah. And then Terry joined them.
Yep.
And he recommend what to do next, and they come up with a game plan. And they need to know if these boards are original or searcher.
Could it be?
Dun dun dun. That's the story of their lives, though.
It is. But Terry, he gets super excited.
Oh my gosh, he's all in about this. It was really good to see Terry.
It was. I was missing him.
All right, so you know the whole stratigraphy conversation we had earlier?
Yes.
So that's a geologic term. Like, where was Terry? Like, I mean, I'm sure he comes
I'm
after.
sure he was nearby.
Yeah, I know. But like when they throw out these geological terms, man, I'm hoping to get some input from Terry.
Yeah.
But I mean, okay.
But I mean,
people could talk geological stuff, and he just happened to not be around.
The swamp doctor does geo stuff too,
does.
so he can.
He's a geoscientist, right?
Yeah, he can throw out all the geoscientific terms because he's a doctor of science.
I know. I'm just happy. I was happy to see
doctor of swamp.
He's a swamp doctor, yo. All right, but I was excited to see Terry because we haven't seen him in a few episodes.
I know, it was exciting. He always has a good Terryism or two for us.
What was your favorite one from this season?
Oh, from this season? Mm-hmm. Probably Hello Dolly.
I was just going to say Hello Dolly.
Yeah.
Hold the phone.
Hold the phone.
Hello Dolly.
Well, look at this, boys and girls. What do we have here?
Yeah, he's fun. I like Terry a lot. Yeah, so you want to talk more about Terry's antics in the uplands?
Yeah, let's go ahead and dive deeper into the uplands.
Okay.
See what I did there? Because we dug a deep hole.
My next section of my notes for uplands, it says Billy is digging. That's the first.
Well, naturally.
That's the first note.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Billy pulls up a large beam.
He does.
And Terry just picks it up. It's like this giant log. Right?
Okay, so he doesn't just pick it up. It's like caked in all this mud, and he's like hulking it out.
Yeah. I saw it and I went, Terry smash. Because he's just like carrying this giant log.
Yeah.
And then he's standing there and he goes on this whole thing about how it looks like everything from the U-shaped structure.
He definitely noted it was hand hewn.
And
then Robert Clotworthy jumps in and says, axe cut wood. I mean, that's like the fourth time we've heard that Clotworthy moment, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're kind of pro on the axe cut wood. Mm-hmm. And he talks about the pegs, that it would have been done the same way. And just the way all the things point to 1769. That is 1769. Mm-hmm. He yells, and then he picks up another log, and while he's holding the other one in his hand, and he's got like a Lincoln log situation going on, and Terry's hulking out.
Yeah, it's, I wouldn't be surprised if they found some Roman numerals on those things, like, because that's kind of what I suspected the Roman numerals were for, either that or for positions of tying up boats or whatever. Like, hey, you're Roman numeral number 4 tying up your boat.
Yep.
Or it could be, if you're putting these pieces of wood together, number 4 connects to number 5, right?
Or 4 to 4, 4 to 5.
Yeah, something like that.
Like IKEA furniture or properly labeled Lincoln logs. I mean, it seems pretty straightforward to me.
It does.
Why not? But it's still, if those weren't there for a purpose, it's like, why would something like that be down there?
Good question. Those are the questions that Rick wants the answers to.
I often have good questions. I ask the hard ones, like, why is that wood there?
Mm-hmm. Well, like I just said, Rick wants those answers, but he's standing there looking at Terry dumbfounded. he's like, he's like, what?
Total amazement. Like, we don't get a look like that from Rick very often, but it's just like, whoa.
Yeah, he had a lot of those looks this episode too. He's just like, and he's just in the moment, just like, whoa.
Yeah, he lives the way a lot of us should. Like, in the moment, like, whoa.
Well, like, gosh, what's his name? Joey Lawrence. Blossom. Whoa. Yeah, I can almost hear him saying it.
Yeah. I mean, I think we both.
How about Bill and Ted? Bill and Ted, like Ted saying, whoa. That's probably closer.
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, do you hear Rick saying, whoa, or whoa? Probably not the second one. Okay. All right. Let's move on.
I see Terry doing the second one.
Perhaps.
Okay.
Terry, yeah. Then one of the coolest moments of the episode, we have Rick getting into Billy's bucket.
He acts like it is the only way to make this happen.
Yeah, he had to do it, and I'm glad he did. I know a lot of people have been worried about Rick getting in the bucket and stuff because, like, whoa, is that safe? Even Deidre, while we're watching it, she's like, man, he's hooked to the bucket. And I'm thinking to myself, well, yeah.
No, And
she wants him hooked to the arm
I
of
want
the
him
excavator.
hooked to the arm
Why-
because
it
what
does not matter.
happens to something with the bucket?
Okay, look.
The bucket gets filled with dirt because everything's collapsing,
What do you
and then
think?
it falls off.
What do you think weighs more? The dirt, the pressure on the bucket when he's scooping, or Rick? Guarantee it's not Rick, okay? So Rick is the lightest thing that bucket's held in a long time. He is fine. There's nothing happening to that guy.
Well, there is if the hole's collapsing in around him.
Yeah, and guess what? He's in like a central location. All that little dirt is just sliding straight down. It's not falling inward like it's going to cover. It's not. He's not going to get buried alive. Okay, he's fine.
Well, we see because he comes up, but they're lowering him down. Billy's like, okay, I'm gonna lower you down, let you do your thing. I mean, if I was getting a bucket, it would be Billy's because it would be the safest.
There you go. See, is Billy gonna let anything happen?
I was no, but Billy can't control the earth. That's not his superpower. Like, he can't keep it from caving into the hole itself.
Yeah.
Because you can't guarantee that it comes straight down. Okay.
Sure.
So safety first.
I'm just agreeing with you to move on.
Yeah, I know. And Terry's obviously very concerned.
Did
you not hear him?
What did he say?
He's all he's like, Rick, okay, yeah, you're close enough. Yep. Yeah, that's fine. And then all of a sudden he goes, okay, you're coming up. Like, he pulls the plug. He says, Rick, no.
Yeah, I turned off my hearing, I guess, when that was going on.
You always turn off your hearing, so you can't say you just selectively turned it off.
I was just like, I was not concerned whatsoever.
I know you weren't concerned. You need to be concerned more often.
I have worked with some heavy equipment in my past, not like Billy's heavy equipment, but like forklifts and stuff. I've been in these boxes or these cages that get lifted up by forklifts and put up, 30 feet in the air. It's not that big of a deal. It's like that. So Rick wasn't in a specially designed cage or anything.
That's what I'm saying.
But people do this stuff all the time and they're fine.
Okay. Anyways, Terry says, hold the phone, pull the cord, get up here.
Pull the plug, huh?
Yeah, pull the plug. So he gets him up, but then they, Marty joins him and Scott, and they have this idea about the camera.
But before you do that, I just want to say in my notes, I wrote, Billy masterfully gets Rick down to where he needs to go safely. Because that's what I observed.
I also observed Terry pacing back and forth and saying, no, get back up here. Even Terry the Hulk says no.
Well, whatevs. I think it was fine. I think it was a good idea. I'm glad he went and got eyes on it.
Yeah. And then we have this brilliant idea of GoPro. And it's like, hey, Scott, can you rig it up? And it's like, of course I can rig it up. He's got it.
But I think I actually have a lot of notes before we get to that moment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead and unload your notes.
All right. So the following day, Marty and Craig join in on the digging in that area. Okay. And then we have this is the Robert Clotworthy, our narrator, says that this is the last day to dig before they have to remove the coffer dam.
Yes.
Okay. And they're examining a beam pulled out of Billy's. Oh, I forgot to mention earlier. I named this Billy's hole.
I was going to go with Billy's beam, but I like it being Terry's Lincoln log. Okay. But anyways.
Yeah. So out of Billy's hole. Well, they like to name things like Drayton's Cross, Billy's Wall. We named Mike's Box earlier this year. This is Billy's hole. Who's digging it? That's right, Billy. Okay. And Marty says that he thinks that the beam is very old. Says that that's how you made stuff a long time ago. It's either from turn of the century or original. And I'm thinking to myself, which century?
Well, that's a fair question because how many centuries are we dealing with? I mean,
is it 1500, 16, 17, 18, 19? Was this buried in 2000 by Billy as a joke?
Happy April Fool's Day.
Probably not. Yeah, but so I'm thinking probably 1700 to 1800 is what he's thinking, because that's the time around.
If you could read minds, that's the one you'd go with.
Yeah, because that's the time that around when Danny McGinnis and his friends discovered the Money Pit area. Discovered where the tree was probably being pulled down to a spot, right? Marking there for significance, and that's why the pulley system was there. Don't know what we're talking about, listen to our last episode. DJ goes on a huge rant about surveying and stuff, and she even got like a special message afterward from a real surveyor that said, wow, you know what you're talking about. So
I know
let's pat you on the back for that one.
I will pat me on the back. There I go. Yes, one of my rants was actually productive, and
they mostly
I think
are.
I solved the money pit tree mystery. Yeah. Boom goes the dynamite.
Boom. Yeah. So anyway, back to Billy's hole. Okay. Rick confirms that no workings were done this deep, and Marty orders some dendro testing from these beams that are being pulled up.
Yep. He fill out an order form or just command someone? I didn't know he ordered it.
Step one is usually chainsaw.
Step one is, hey, Scott, can you cut this?
Yeah. Please.
Please.
Yeah. All right. So Marty is shocked at how similar these appear to the U-shaped structure that dated to 1769, as we're told again.
Yes.
They're wondering if this is the original flood tunnel. Dun, dun, dun.
Could it be?
Oh, man. And then Billy continues digging, struck something, wants to know if it's rock or wood.
Yeah, he's not going to move the teeth because who knows?
And then what happens? Marty gets all tethered up.
He is tethered, yo.
He wants to jump right in.
So he said he will do this and take a look, but then he points to Billy and says, but he's not digging anymore.
Yeah.
Safety first.
Well, I think he was just saying that he's not digging anymore because the ground beneath the excavator is kind of looking weak.
What do you say? He's undercutting.
A little bit. It's like it's slowly coming back toward him, even though he's not digging in that spot. It's because, gravity is making that in
gravity
and all. Oh man, well, that should be a clot-worthy moment, huh?
It's a
gravity.
It's a Deidre moment.
Yeah.
Gravity that happened. You gotta remember how heavy this equipment is. So yeah, I wouldn't want to stick my head down there either, too, if I was afraid there was some undercutting and it's going to become a whatchamacallit.
Billy knew what was happening. Okay.
I didn't say he didn't.
I know, but Billy's not going to keep digging and just tumble himself in,
I'm justifying Marty's concerns and Billy's digging blind. So he's got to have help from those around him.
He has a digger sense, though.
You can't have like a drone hovering there all the time to see where he's digging.
He could.
No, they only go for like 15 to 20 minutes at a time, and then they run super hot, and then you kill them, which is a whole different tangent.
Yeah, so Marty is kind of like laying down on the ground, all tethered up, and says, there is a hole, there is a tunnel going that way. Or is it that way?
To the left.
I don't know. It's going. And he's excited to see it. And that's when Rick asks Scott if he can rig up a camera to the excavator to get video from the area below. And Scott fixes it up.
Yep. Because if there's one thing we learned, it's always have a GoPro in your pocket.
Yep.
So he probably had one in his pocket. I'm sure he
cinched it right up to that.
Cinched it right up, and he said, hey, who's got a flashlight? I'm on it. Clip, clip, clip.
Jump on it. Jump on it. And he did.
And so they get a nice live feed. They do all that. I saw people asking why not send a drone in. And like what I was saying, because drones and their flight time, I mean, who knows how long they
might have done that video for like just 10 or 15 minutes themselves.
Hold up, let me finish.
All right, go for it.
They're also very delicate, and expensive, like for a good video drone. So what they have around there with the camera crew is going to be, some nice high-end stuff. I'm sure they have multiple battery packs, et cetera, et cetera. But you saw the way that it was all the dirt was falling in. You get, a little piece of dirt in one of those propellers. That thing's going down. Like,
I completely agree. I was going to go with the same. I was going to say that almost the same thing. Not as elegantly as
how many drones must die in order to get that shot? Or you could just.
Is that part of the curse?
Maybe.
7 I don't drones know. They must crash into Billy's hole.
Then that would be the money pit. You know how expensive that is? That's a lot of drones and cameras dead.
Sure. Yeah. Well, anyway,
so the GoPro does survive on the bucket.
Yeah, and that's and it gets some really cool images. So it
Yeah,
worked.
it
It
did
worked.
work.
All right. So, um, yeah, uh, Marty explains that they're doing this with the long reach excavator, and that's the easy way, but less safe. Probably going to do a bigger dig next year. Is what is my notes in here.
Well, we already know that they're not done with Smith's Cove, and like you said, they're trying to do it quickly. If they had dug it with, stable sides where you were kind of coming in that, what's that, like a conical shape, it would have been fine. Not a big deal, not such a safety hazard to just look at it or put someone in a bucket to go in or scale the side. That's just not the case here. When you're running out of time and you're putting pedal to the metal, you've literally got hours, minutes to figure it out. You ain't got time to waste. That's all.
You ain't got time to waste.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
All right. So they video and they see something kind of incredible.
Yeah.
What do they see?
What seems to maybe be a tunnel.
Or a shaft, they say.
Or a shaft. I mean.
But let's be real. That's a tunnel.
That's a tunnel. It's going horizontal.
Is it a flood tunnel, though?
That is the question, because where's the water?
No water, but, I mean, that cofferdam is blocking potentially anything coming up. So, theoretically, that area could have been dry for a long time if there was water running through it. So, it may appear to be dry, but it could have been because the cofferdam was put in 2 years ago. So yeah, we will see how things go, and if we'll just have to wait and see if they have any testing from wood down in that area to see how old it is. I'm excited to see if it's also in the 1769 or earlier range. Earlier would probably be even better, but we gotta
earlier is
wait,
always better,
and we'll see.
Yep.
So, I mean, I wouldn't roll it out to be the main flood tunnel, but why is the money pit still wet with the cofferdam in place? Because they did the dye test last year. That was with the cofferdam in place.
Well, I was, kind of dwelling on that a little bit, and my thought would be, I mean, parts of the flood tunnels could be collapsed, and then we have like pockets of dry and pockets
or they could just be filled with rocks as a French drain suggests.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but then I questioned, we had a hole earlier this season that was very wet. It was gushing up, it was squirting out from the bottom. And this is not squirting.
It's not. But, maybe there's answers for that. Maybe,
there's always
when we were watching, you were like, well, there's probably just a secondary flood tunnel, that goes south from the money pit. So it had more than one source of water getting in there in case one did get shut off, right? So I thought that was pretty smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been theorized and it's been speculated,
Well, theorizing and speculation, that's the name of the game here.
Isn't that like one of Randall Sullivan's things, how he thinks the South Shore had a another flood tunnel there? So.
Yeah, or an entrance. I mean, when they did the dye test that was not the one with this team, there was indications potentially, it coming out at different places, but
yeah.
So it's hard to say, and especially since we had such little time. Anywho, so we got the video, and they ended up over at the war room to show everybody, right?
Yep.
See if we had any
meeting in the war
room there.
Yeah, I didn't see Scott in the war room though, and it's his video. So
it's Scott's video.
It is Scott's video.
Okay,
he's the one that rigged that sucker up.
So they are reviewing Scott's video.
Yeah, discussing the uplands.
Yeah, and it's a fairly full.
Yeah, we had Marty, Rick, Craig, Billy, Paul, and Steve Guptill. Steve Guptill's not just a surveyor; he's like electronic equipment operator.
No, Steve wasn't there because he wasn't running the laptop. There's more than one war room.
Yeah, I'm
scene.
talking about the one where they discuss the uplands, and I have Steve as present.
Stand by.
Anyway, Billy wasn't present for this one, and
Yes,
I feel like he should have been because it was Billy's hole, but whatever.
All right. Okay, I see. Yes, you are right. Carry on.
Come on, that's something I hear every day of my life.
People. Oh, give me a break.
I'm always right. All right, so they look at the video taken by Billy.
Mm-hmm.
He explains that it's or Billy is there. See, now I'm wrong.
You're always
I just said Billy was there. All right. He explained that this tunnel that they're looking at was about 30 feet down. Right?
Correct.
Yeah. Marty asks what they're looking at. Is it a tunnel? Is it a tunnel filled with rocks? Is it a shaft? We already kind of discussed that. That's what Paul described it as. And then Rick and Billy note that there was a double layered wooden wall.
Yeah. Or
that was pretty interesting.
What appears
it looked like it. I mean, it could have been broken and then fit into that shape, I guess, because we didn't get to examine it as closely as they did.
No, I mean,
so who knows?
But we weren't in the war room like, look.
Yeah, but there was. It appeared to be like 2 sections of wall around this thing. So that's pretty neat.
That was cool, and we've seen other workings kind of like that around. Yeah, well, all the different walls. Billy's wall had a similar look.
It didn't have 2 walls next to each other.
Well,
okay, I don't know. All right, Craig noted that the boards were different width, like the size, how wide they were.
Yes.
Oh, and I wrote in here, Steve schools everybody with his maps.
Whoa, those maps blew my mind.
Yeah, we paused it a lot on the maps.
Like, yeah.
The first time the map popped up, I paused it. And then like 2 seconds later, like they have a wider shot of the map and I pause it again. I'm like, oh, okay, well, here's a better view of it. And then we look at every little detail and then we press play. And then even a better view of the map comes in and we're like, oh my gosh, we should have just paused it here.
Exactly. I feel like I need to print out Steve's map. I actually, in my notes, I put start seeing Steve's maps at 5140.
Oh, there you go.
So if you need to go check it out and you want to see his maps in further, they start there. That includes commercial times because that's from our DVR.
DVR, yeah.
So just in case you wanted to know. Yeah, they were. It was really cool.
Yeah, Craig noted that the position of this theoretical or not theoretical, it's there, possible tunnel lined up with the U-shaped structure.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. Like right in the middle of it. It's like a nice line from the U-shaped structure all the way toward the money pit. And I think one of the things on the far left side of that map was that rock monument. And so it like run right into that area.
Right. Yeah. Right near it.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
And then, yeah, they've got like the lines there on the map. And I noted Steve putting everything lined up, calculated by Craig. So I feel like there must be a room where Craig is sent to do calculations and that's it. I feel like he's a wizard of calculations.
You ever see, I've never seen the movie A Beautiful Mind, but I see like a gif from it all the time where I think Russell Crowe's like sitting there and like all these symbols are like flashing around his mind. That's what I think of with Craig doing all this stuff,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And let's see. Everyone kind of is agreeing that this is likely a tunnel, not a shaft. And then depending on the dendrochronology data, let's try to say that 5 times real fast.
I'll pass.
Marty says that there's a good chance that this is part of the flood tunnel system. So we'll see. I mean, I bet we get that information next week or the week after, right?
Yeah. And Rick, I mean, this is what I had mentioned earlier. Rick stating that they're not done in Smith's Cove, even though they have to pull the cofferdam.
Yep. This is the time where they're suspending operations in Smith's Cove and the uplands for the year. Kind of sad, but I mean, it's just how it is.
And just kind of on that note, in regards to Smith's Cove, we do get a shot of them going out to Smith's Cove to talk with Mike.
Mike Jardine from Irving Equipment.
Yeah, so Scott and Rick go out there to kind of talk about the cofferdam, what's going on, and it's almost like this ceremonial moment where they start, they've got everything filled in, but to see the sheets pulled and kind of evening out the water and then working their way around.
And yeah, they filled in all that area. Mike's box is gone. U-shaped structure is buried. All that stuff is buried again.
And that
the
was
U-shaped
my
structure was buried,
question:
but
is it all back in the dirt and then they cover it back up? Because they did, they had it pulled out to excavate underneath. Do you just put all the logs in the U-shaped structure back and cover it up?
They did last year. I believe that's what they did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just kind of curious.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what they did.
I mean, it makes sense, especially since it's all been marked by Steve. And
everything is pinpoint located.
Or as Steve says, he shoots it, right? He pew pew.
Pew pew.
Pew pew.
There you go. Yep. So Marty ended that little thing saying it was a successful operation. He considers all that a success, and it was. I mean, look how much stuff they got to at least rediscover and talk about and show all of us. I mean,
I agree.
It was great.
It seemed very successful to me, at least.
Yeah, Clotworthy went into like a little spiel about.
He doesn't do that.
Yeah,
he
explained the significance of the cofferdam and the discoveries it enabled: the U-shaped structure, the concrete wall. Man, we haven't heard that in a while. Huh?
Yeah, I know.
They're bringing up the concrete wall, the slipway, the stone box drains, evidence for a flood tunnel, Drayton's Cross, and that was the catalyst that made him do this kind of big project anyway. Finding the cross over there. So
yep.
Good stuff.
All the stuff.
I think that kind of wraps up most of the show, except for we need to go back and talk about the work done at the McGinnis Foundation over on Lot 21.
Lot 21, chat about the war room and the laser ablation results.
Oh, yeah. You want to talk about laser ablation first?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So they meet up in the war room, and I do have the proper people listed here this time.
Okay, who was there?
So we have Rick, Gary, Paul, Craig, Jack, Charles, Doug, and Dave.
Wow.
Say that 5 times
and John
fast.
Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
His name is my name too.
Okay, cool.
Okay, they're gonna video chat with Chris McFarland about the.
And who is he? He is a professor of geochemistry at the University of New Brunswick.
Yes, that guy.
Just in case everybody, forgot exactly what he's up to over in
at
the college he works at. That's what he's up to.
That's kind of funny. It's just, what's he up to?
He ablates things with a laser. Okay,
Boom.
Do you do that?
I do.
No, you don't. Okay,
I don't
he has
have
a way
laser.
cooler job than you do. Okay?
If I had a laser, I'd ablate things.
Sure. Okay.
Nobody give me a laser, please. Okay, so they get talking to him, and he calls it a weird piece of lead.
It is a weird piece of lead, and that goes good with the obnoxious anomaly from that last week.
That's right.
But even though they're not in the same area, they're unrelated, but it's just a funny little term.
They hold hands. They go hand in hand.
Yep. So
no hand holding right now. It contains mercury and tin.
Yep, and he said that was really weird and something he has never seen before, and something I think, did he say he wouldn't expect to see those together?
Yeah, he's saying because Jack asks, Jack and I want to say Rick asked if it was like in the body of the ore or if it was something that would have been added in a process later. And he goes on to explain, if you're heating it up to 900 degrees, the mercury would like burn off, right? So it would have had to have been added after the smelting process when it was cooler in order for it to still show up.
And it shows up all right. So Jack goes into a spiel of his own about how a theorist brought up that Sir Francis Bacon used mercury to preserve documents. And I thought that was actually a little bit funny because last week when we had the preview for this week, it was Charles bringing up that in the preview. And he almost said the same thing. Like, was he just repeating Jack? Was it like somebody on site saying, "Oh, I like that, but I want Jack to say it"?
I think it's a conversation that probably comes up fairly often.
And they just kind of said it again and again.
Yeah,
I think that happens sometimes on Oak Island.
Well, yeah, when you're trying to fit the pieces together, not all the mercury pieces fit exactly in the same spot.
They're not mercury Lincoln logs?
No, they're more like you're trying to find the mercury corner pieces and then fit all the other puzzle pieces in the middle. So, at least in my theory. But yeah, so we hear about Mercury, Francis Bacon. We've heard that a lot.
Yeah, we had Robert Clotworthy explain kind of Francis Bacon, how he fits into the Oak Island lore. Kind of like, could he be William Shakespeare? Like the guy that wrote the original manuscripts, and that's a connection. That's one of the things people think is hidden on Oak Island. Could he have hidden, he has his ties to the Templars through the Rosicrucians that he founded. And could they have the holy artifacts that made their way to be hidden to Oak Island, to be hidden in the Money Pit area? I don't know.
Well, he mentions also about, okay, so we already know about Francis Bacon and preserving things in mercury, right? And Chris goes on to say, well, it would keep bugs, mold, pretty much anything away. It'll kill any of that type of stuff so that it would be preserved. And we see an image of a lead box, and that an animation, I guess, is a better term for that. And stating that potentially, this box filled with things with mercury, and is that what's down there? And then my mind goes to, wait a second, maybe if that's the case, if it's a lead box or whatever kind of box it is and has mercury in it, is that the chapel vault?
I don't know.
Have we tested
that's what that piece of parchment came out of a long time ago. This is VI, right?
Yeah, that was my first thought. And then that was also whenever they were doing the drilling in, and then they magnetized the drill bit and got metal of some kind. Was anything that came out of there tested for mercury levels? It's something to consider, because we also see or hear, I guess, on the next week on, I believe it was the swamp that was said to have high levels of mercury. But when it comes to mercury, I don't know how it naturally occurs, if it's a byproduct of something or where you would find it besides in a thermometer. Like, I know there's not thermometer trees everywhere, right? So, and then
there's definitely not thermometer trees everywhere.
I noticed Francis Bacon's large hat we spoke about. Yeah. That would have had a lot of mercury in it. That's what they used, a lot of mercury for that. That's making? Why you have the Mad Hatter.
Mad as a Hatter is a term because they were exposed to too much mercury.
Yep. And maybe that's a folklore. Maybe they didn't use as much mercury as I said, but I get a feeling that's why they went mad. But yeah, that was just another tangent I had.
Well, before you wrap up on Francis Bacon,
no, I wasn't wrapped, but carry on.
Okay, well, we have what's his name? Kevin Burns, the guy that's the executive producer, like the head honcho over at Prometheus Entertainment. He had said in a Facebook post that they're going to do another drilling down episode that's focused on Francis Bacon.
That's right.
And they're going to do another one about the founding fathers before the season is over. So that's, in the next few weeks, we're going to see a lot more about Francis Bacon.
Yeah.
So they didn't bring him up for no reason here.
No,
they're
exactly
laying the groundwork, paving the path.
Well, and then they go on to ask him, by him I mean Chris
McFarlane.
Yeah, where the lead came from. And they're very pleased with the results.
Yeah, because it was like Greece.
Yeah.
/ Greece, Turkey.
Cyprus.
Yep.
Turkey. And Gary's like, yeah.
Gary had a twinkle in his eye.
Yeah, and he was, I wouldn't call it a gold dance, maybe a mercury dance,
I guess.
And he was like, who do we know that hung out around there?
Templar, baby.
So he's pretty stoked.
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, Jack said it could be a friend of the cross. That's a little bit of a reach, Jack, but sure. Maybe, I guess.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, Rick noted that that area was very Templar influenced. So yeah,
but there's a lot of areas Templar influenced, or they're people like them, like, whether it be Masons or Rosicrucians or the Knights Baronet, or there's a lot of those hanging around in a
lots
lot
of
of places.
possibilities. Yeah,
I mean, if you think about it, that's a lot.
Yeah, I was happy to see that they still have a good relationship with Dr. McFarlane.
Yeah,
And they were able to, get the laser
conversing.
ablation they needed, and they didn't have to go into the office this time. They just were like, yeah, let's phone
Let's
it in.
chat. Let's chat.
Yeah,
Let's phone a friend.
yeah, phone a friend. So yeah, cool. I like that they have all these connections to all these cool like technologies that they're getting some answers from. So
Yep.
yay.
Yay.
All right, now McGinnis Foundation. Should we
Yep.
chat about
Lot
that?
21.
All right, so when they open up at the McGinnis Foundation, the first scene there, they had Alex and Peter like pulled up in their SUV, right?
Their
Or
dark tinted
dark
SUV
tinted,
with their high security.
yeah, all that stuff. And they joined Laird and conservator Kelly Barassa in an archaeological dig at the McGinnis Foundation.
Correct.
So who is Kelly Barassa? Do
So,
you remember Kelly?
Yeah, I remember him because we have visited him before on a field trip.
Yeah. What did he do?
And he's come to the island. He's taken a look at what looked to be like that starburst button, and then also the brooch that had the white.
It theoretically looked like a appeal to heaven symbol, like the flag, like the fern or whatever, like a tree, fern,
nautical potentially.
Yeah, the brooch that Gary and Charles found.
I concur.
So he cleaned it up.
He conserves things. Like
conserved it.
That's his jam. He knows how to clean it up, how to deal with these types of things.
Yeah, so we had him earlier in this season. Maybe that's another hint at, well, probably not, because he's just probably there to work with Laird. But
yeah,
because I mentioned just a moment ago that Kevin Burns said that there's also going to be a Founding Fathers drilling down. So, bringing him back into like just so that we see him and remember, like you and I, we can remember that he did an analysis on that brooch, and that brooch had a tie, perhaps, may not, it hasn't been proven, but it could have a tie to this theory from, remember, Court Lindahl, that his theory about the Founding Fathers knowing about Oak Island and getting perhaps funding the Revolutionary War with part of Oak Island's treasure or whatever, theoretically.
Yeah, and I get a feeling that Kelly and Laird have worked together several times.
I get that feeling too.
For a long time. So it's nice to see him bring in a fellow teammate, and they're working in 3x3 foot grids called
test pits.
And so that was a new term for me. I hadn't heard that before, but that makes
I was
sense.
pretty sure they said it last week, but
blah blah blah. My name's Dustin. I always have to be right, even when I'm wrong.
It's hard.
Anyways,
it's difficult.
Test pits, and
Kelly's sifting.
Yes, and Alex and Peter are like, "Hey, what's up? Find anything?" And that Laird shows them a feature that they found and explains, luckily on this site, we do have it, it's been well photographed. So we've kind of got some stuff to work off of, which I assume in archaeology isn't very common. You probably don't have photographs of a lot of sites. You're just looking at what appears to be natural features or whatever it is. So
yeah, not recent history sites. You like you said, you wouldn't have photographs of like the ancient sites, right? So yeah, it's pretty cool. But I mean, I bet they do a lot of archaeology work from all through the 1800s and to early 1900s, and during that period of time, you might have photographs. So it might not be something that they're super unfamiliar with, or like something they don't have in their pocket all the time. But yeah, I don't know.
And then what he says is, okay, yeah, he finds a feature, and it looks to be the foundation of like that smaller building, like a shed or something. I'm trying to think of.
Yeah,
I don't think it's an outhouse.
No, That house was out back behind Laird.
That's
there.
right. I was like, oh, look.
you see that video of Laird in the outhouse?
Yes, I did. I was like, that's special.
I think, was it Scott that shared that?
Probably.
I think Scott shared that with Laird or something, and somebody had go to Laird's Facebook page and look for it. That's all we'll say. Pretty funny.
They're funny. Those guys razz each other online.
Oh, they do.
It's totally worth it. Anytime I see something pop up in a group and it looks like it could be that, I'm first to read the comments, I swear, because
the comments are good.
They're just like picking on each other back and forth, and it's funny stuff.
It's good stuff.
Gives me a good chuckle.
Deidre says, "Oh gosh, you got to see this.
You got to see this. This is funny."
Yeah. So he shows him the photo, going back to the McGinnis Foundation, and you can clearly see that off the side of the house was like the shed or whatever, and that's what Laird thinks they found. Cool.
Makes sense. It sounds like based off of where the regular foundation for the house is.
Yep. And so that was kind of the end of that little segment of the show, but they do come back to the lot 21 to talk to Laird again, and Craig.
Okay. Wait, before we went to that, there was this little moment that I really liked.
What's that?
Felt like a tagline. Alex says he will keep his fingers crossed, and Laird says they will get their trowels in the ground. And I feel like get your trowels in the ground or trowels down is like a archaeologist tagline, like something they'd have on the back of their, like, I don't know, biker jackets or whatever, like their sticker? Club jackets.
How about bumper sticker?
I feel like they're more of a Letterman jacket kind of person. Trowels down. Or if they had their own secret society, it would be the trowels down or something like that. I was like, oh, I like that. Trowels in the ground, yo. Okay, that's all I had.
All right. So I got Craig and Rick show up to check in with Laird.
Yes, because he apparently called.
Laird shows them what he believes to be a trap door in the cellar area.
And he explains why, because he thinks that dirt would be...
He would expect to see some kind of steps or something, but there was none. And he suspects that that's because it was a trap door.
Yeah. And the way the natural dirt was kind of coming in. And he's saying it also looks bigger than what they initially thought.
Well, Robert Clotworthy was all like, trap door.
Right. Well, my first thought with a trap door, I'm like, does he mean like a trap door? Or is this like... You know, in The Wizard of Oz and
the witches,
the tornadoes coming, and you're like trying to get into the cellar that's got the doors, you know, so you don't get whisked away.
Sure. What about
or any old time movies like that with the doors that open and close? That was my first. I was like, is that the kind of trap door he means, or does he mean like super secret tunnel trap door?
I think he means. I think that trap door would probably be on or that cellar door that you're thinking of from like Wizard of Oz. That probably is something similar to what they had that led down into that cellar. But then this is like
on the inside instead of outside.
On the inside, another passage or whatever that could have been hidden. And it could have been filled with treasure, as Robert Clotworthy speculated.
It could also be, you know, for all the cabbage and...
or could have just been something completely innocent.
Yeah, it could be just a second cellar. But I also thought trapdoor. Trapdoor to me says someone's got to fall through it and walk into a booby trap. So I hope...
So are you saying that McGinnis is the one that set up all the booby traps?
Ooh. No, but maybe I am now.
No,
I'm waiting for him to like uncover it, and then it's Indiana Jones style down there where you have to get around and like use your marbles. That's Goonies to like, you know, fix the booby traps. They go woo, so you don't get stabbed by a Roman pilum or something like that.
Yeah,
but he can't dig any further.
Yeah, he's done. Stick a fork in the McGinnis Foundation, at least for now.
No, stick a knife in it.
Oh yeah, a bone-handled knife. That's right.
A fancy bone-handled knife that he finds.
And he said it was potentially from somewhere around 1750 to the 1800. You know, so it's pretty old. Like that's Revolutionary War time. So that's old.
and it just happened to be, right in there by that trapdoor area. Maybe you need to use the knife to like pry open a little something to get into your trapdoor area. But
doubtful, but yeah.
based off of the permits they have now, in order for them to dig any further, they have to prove that there's something there to dig in order to make that happen.
Well, something that could help with that is that this knife that they found was older than any artifact he expected to find.
He seemed very excited.
Yeah.
Well, he said he was very excited.
Yeah. Well, that's an excited Laird. He wasn't like jumping up and down, but that was an excited Laird.
Yeah, that was an excited Laird because he found a trapdoor and a knife. Like, I didn't think there would actually be any artifacts left over in the McGinnis Foundation, but I guess when you go to move, you always leave something behind.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's kind of the whole episode.
Yeah, but branching off of that real quick, for the next time on, we see GPR guys come back.
Yeah, did you get the clip?
I want to talk about it real quick before I do that, though.
Go ahead.
And we see the GPR guys come back, and I'm wondering if that is so that they can GPR over that area in which they think there's a trapdoor. And then if they do that, maybe that'll be the evidence to allow them to dig further.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably why they're there.
That would be
very
my
good
guess.
point.
Okay. We did pull the audio from the next time on, so we could all listen to it together and have a little chatteroony.
Yeah, because we thought maybe we should do it this way, and I don't know, this might be a new thing we do. So yeah, hit the button and let's see what it says.
Next time on The Curse of Oak Island.
Well, we've got the largest can possible.
So it's a little bit bigger this year.
Yeah, much bigger.
Wow. The cores show high lead and mercury at the base. The eye was excavated to extract clay.
We have 2 anomalies here.
It's like treasure chest anomaly.
We got 5 different experts saying this is man-made.
Wow. We're going to start slamming cans.
It's time to dig. There we go. Does this one come with a guarantee?
Oh, 100% treasure guarantee. Yep.
Okay.
100% treasure guarantee.
You heard it from her lips.
Yep.
She's going to make it happen, I guess.
Go, Vanessa.
Yeah. So lots to unpack there, but let's try to do it quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So ROC arrived with the 8-foot caissons, 8-foot hammer grab, and the big old oscillator.
Wow.
So we got some digging in the money pit next week. That's exciting.
Digging and hammer grabbing.
And then we have Dr. Spooner in the swamp saying that the eye was excavated to extract clay.
That's a really interesting idea.
Well, maybe it was the Aztecs after all. They're the ones that supposedly were so invested, or they thought that this clay was more valuable than gold, apparently, right? So,
well, if it depends on what you're using said item for as to the value of it.
Yeah. So that's pretty exciting, though.
Things are worth what people will pay for it.
It's cool that Dr. Spooner is just there and,
he has some really unique knowledge to bring.
Yeah. It's cool that they're really focusing on this area and getting some like answers, basically.
Absolutely.
All right. So the GPR surveyors tell Doug and Laird that they found 2 anomalies, and they look like treasure chests, right?
Yes. And my favorite
Laird
part
that
of
said
that?
the treasure chest part?
Yeah.
It sounded like Laird.
And then they shoot over to Charles.
Yeah, Charles's face is like,
his face is like, oh, and he does this exact shifty eye, like, oh my gosh. Like, oh man, that feels like a GIF coming.
Yeah.
Right down the pipeline. It was amazing. He was shocked. Yeah, anytime you hear treasure chest anomaly.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Marty said that they have 5 experts that say something is man-made, then something is man-made. He's saying they're talking about the swamp, obviously. They got all these people like, yeah, I mean, they're getting some concrete answers, and they're not done with that swamp, not by a long shot. I'm expecting lots of big stuff next year.
Oh yeah. I know a lot of people are worried that there's not going to be a next season, but to me, it feels like there's so much going on. I'd be shocked if there wasn't.
Yep.
Like, we're just getting down to the bottom of things. There is not enough episodes left to be able to share all that.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and then you got your friend Vanessa.
My friend.
What'd she have to say? Well, you're buddies with her, right?
Sure. I think she's awesome, and she's one of my heroes, and she's out there kicking butt, taking names, ready to slam some can, and she has 100% treasure guarantee.
Yep. I mean, you can't ask for more than that.
You
So
can't
thank you,
ask-
Vanessa.
Yeah.
Oak Island solved next week.
Oak Island solved next week. Coming soon.
Yeah. So it looks like they're all standing together about to flip the switch to get the oscillator to start moving. And it looks like her and Dave are pressing the button together. That was pretty cool.
That was really cool.
So yeah, that's the episode.
Wow.
Good stuff, huh?
That's wow. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
I had a good time.
It was really good. So before we get to the clock-worthy moment,
okay,
I just want to say real quick that there was an announcement that was not hyped whatsoever. Nobody knew it was coming as far as we know, but there's a new series coming.
Yes.
April 28th called Beyond Oak Island.
Yes.
Starring Rick and Marty Lagina.
That is so exciting.
Whoa.
Yes.
So to me, when they were explaining, like they're showing Rick and Marty in the war room. Randall Sullivan's actually sitting across from them, chatting about who knows what, but it's about them looking for different treasures, or at least exploring different treasure hunts, treasure legends, whatever, from the war room. And I don't know if they go out and look for these things or if they have proxies go and do so, but it looked kind of like Expedition Unknown.
Yeah, it looked a lot like Expedition Unknown, or like what Shatner is doing, how he's more like a host and sharing these things. I was thinking about because we saw a glimpse of them diving, etc., etc.
Yeah, one had like the pyramids in it, so it's like not on Oak Island, it's beyond Oak Island.
Yeah, so obviously they're interested in different treasure hunts and mysteries and these ancient things, but they used to work with John Chatterton a lot, and he did the 10x diving. He does
lots of like shipwreck dives,
shipwreck treasure stuff.
Tight spaces.
Yeah, I have one of his books.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Well, one about someone that was working with him.
Oh, okay.
And then if there's him, we also know Gary does treasure hunting.
I think Gary's big into treasure hunting.
Yeah. I have no doubt they've come across plenty of people with their hands in all kinds of mysteries and legends and treasure stuff.
I know somebody else that's really into hunting for treasure. Us. Hey, Rick, Marty, you need some treasures to go after? We're here. We're available. We
would love to chat with you about armchair treasure hunts.
We're available. Yeah.
Because then it gets the fans involved. We're working on our own.
Anyway. Yes, the two of us, we're in. Just call us, okay?
Yep. Just give me a ring.
Yeah. So, anyway, Beyond Oak Island. I'm excited for it. We'll be podcasting about it.
Oh, yes.
Heck yeah, we will. We're going to keep this going. That might be the last episode of the season, like before Beyond Oak Island begins, because it's on a Tuesday. It's at 10 p.m. directly after The Curse of Oak Island.
Which makes sense.
That could be the final episode of the season, or we could get a couple more and just have Beyond Oak Island be attached to The Curse of Oak Island.
Yeah.
So we're expecting to continue as long as Beyond Oak Island goes. We'll continue doing podcasts about that.
Yep.
Any other podcasts in our future?
What?
Do we have any other podcasts that aren't just these recaps coming up soon?
Well, we're working on some of our boots and armchairs stuff. Is that what you're talking
about?
Nope,
I'm talking about what our Patreon people have got the goal
I
of
thought
finally.
You were talking about like another podcast show. I was like, well, we just said we were going to do this one.
I'm talking
Don't try
about
to lead things I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh. Well, you should know what we're talking about because I talked to you about it right before we went on.
Okay, let's not argue about it and let's just tell them.
Okay, so Oak Island watch-alongs coming this week.
Yes.
And so thank you to our patrons. They have we had a goal. We've hit the goal, and so now we're going to do our watch-alongs where we're going to basically press play on season 1, episode 1 of The Curse of Oak Island. you won't be able to hear it, but you'll be hearing our commentary throughout the whole episode. And then we will do a separate episode following it up with a recap of that episode. So we got lots of stuff coming. We hope that this time during when we're supposed to be self-isolating from the world, that we can do something to make the time pass a little bit and bring a little enjoyment to you.
Exactly. So the goal would be that you push play the same time we do. So it's almost like we're all having a little conversation.
We're having a chat together. We're having fun together. And we're watching Oak Island together. What's better than that?
We'll do a recap.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be great. So you guys will love it. We'll love it. Everybody will love it. Do we have Clotworthies?
Yes, we do. Okay, so let's talk about last week's winner. You ready?
I'm ready.
A possible tunnel at a depth of some 60 feet and located in the uplands just south of the nearby cave-in pit.
Yes.
The tunnels won.
The people picked my favorite.
I know.
Well, it has literally everything I could hope for in a Clotworthy moment. So thanks to everybody that voted. And we have a brand new contender, 2 contenders for this week's Clotworthy moment, right?
Yep. Okay.
So let's hear them.
First one.
Mercury, found on a lead artifact in the Money Pit area.
I mean, we talked a lot about Mercury, so
Mercury.
It seems very fitting.
He's not talking about the planet, right?
No, but we could debate that. I mean, he does narrate ancient aliens.
He does. Maybe there's ancient aliens on Mercury. Who knows?
Maybe.
Doubtful.
No.
It's too hot there.
All right. Too hot. Okay, next.
A trap door, possibly leading to a secret basement beneath the McGinnis Foundation.
Wow, that's a good one.
That's a really good one. Mercury. So a planet is going against a trapdoor.
Well, I don't know.
It's going to be a tough week.
I think that's probably an easy one. I think that's going to be a landslide.
I don't know. Every time I think it's going to be a landslide. Like they didn't pick my tree stump.
Yeah. Oh, well, these were good choices. And if you guys want to help us out and vote on this week's Clotworthy moment, go to our Facebook page. That's www.facebook.com/OakIslandPodcast. There will be a post there with pictures, and you can pick one or the other to vote for this week's Clotworthy moment.
Oh, www.
And where else can they do it?
They can also do it on Twitter. You can just find us at our handle, which is at OakIslandPod.
Yep. And there will be a poll on each of those. Click on the one you like, vote for the Clotworthy moment.
Yes. And then other ways you can get a hold of us, maybe not to vote if you want to connect. Our Instagram handle is at Oak Island Podcast. So find us there.
You can email us, and that's at OakIslandPodcast@gmail.com.
Yep. And then also we have a website.
Yep.
Contact us through there.
www.OakIslandPodcast.com.
Yep.
There's a theme.
Yeah. Weird. You can listen to episodes on there. You can subscribe through whatever your favorite app is so that you can find us directly. Trying to get all of our stuff all in one place.
Hey, we're also on YouTube.
Yes, we are.
YouTube.com/OakIslandPodcast.
Yep.
Hey, something that I wanted to throw out there. If you need a smile on your face during these crazy times, go to YouTube or go to our Facebook page, find our videos that we made with the whole Oak Island crew.
Yeah.
Deidre had just completed an awesome one about how would you explain it? It's like opening credits for the Curse of Oak Island, like an alternate opening credits.
Very long opening credits.
Yeah. So she made one that is
Friends themed,
like like the TV show Friends. It's really good. It's really fun. And then last year we made one that was Full House themed. So good stuff. Give you a smile on your face if the world's got you down or whatever. So just want to throw that out there.
Yep. You can also, those are both on our website as well. If you have any hard times finding us on the YouTube.
There you go. Perfect. Is there anything else that we have this week?
I don't think so.
Okay.
All right. Well, until next time.
Could it be?
No. We all want easy answers. There's not too many easy answers on this island.
No. But those answers will wait for tomorrow.
That's right.